Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus. I'm Reverend Dr. Marion Stewart. It is my pleasure to serve this congregation as senior minister. This morning, we will be celebrating Mother's Day. We will honor all mothers and those who play a mothering and nurturing role in our lives. I'd like to dedicate this service to those mothers and also to mothers in sanctuary. Here in Columbus, we have two mothers, Edith and Miriam, who are living in Columbus area churches and are yet again away from their families on a Mother's Day. In this time of pandemic, their loneliness grows even deeper. Please let our hearts and prayers be with them and all mothers on this day. I invite you to now center yourselves as we listen to Nathan play our prelude.
Welcome everyone to our weekly worship service. My name is Kelly McNeil and I am honored to serve as your congregational life coordinator here at First Unitarian Universalist of Columbus. We are glad you have joined us this morning. Whether this is your first time visiting with us or your 1000th time, we are so glad that you are here. If you have any questions or would like to know more about who we are and the wonderful opportunities we have to connect and engage, please email me. You can find my email in the chat box. To all of our visitors who are returning again this week, welcome back. Thank you for reaching out to me and letting me know that you have been visiting. I really love getting the chance to learn a little bit more about who you are and what brought you to First UU. As always, we have a few announcements this morning. We will have a time for joys and sorrows later in the service. If you would like to send us a joy or a sorrow, Reverend Eric will let you know when it's time to type them into the chat box. You can find the chat by clicking on the little chat icon in the bottom part of your screen. We have a virtual coffee hour after the service at 11 o'clock. You'll have a few minutes after this service to grab a cup of coffee, tea, water, or whatever beverage you enjoy and come join us. Look for the link for that in the chat. If you would like to participate in our UU Cares program with regular contact for well-being checks and connection, please email me. You can find more information about the program on our website. You can also head on over to the website, firstucolumbus.org/online, to see all of our UU at home videos and blog posts. If you aren't getting emails letting you know that a new edition is posted, please email me to be added to the mailing list. Thank you to everyone who joined us for our community chat time on Thursday. We had another fun online game night, and this week we will be doing Bird Bingo. If you missed this week, don't worry, we offer these every Thursday night from 7 to 8. We also have a few religious exploration announcements from our religious exploration coordinator, Amber Scott. Every Sunday in May, she will be hosting a kids and families check-in from 11 to 11:30, where we will read stories, have show and tell, play games, and more. If you also have people in your household who want to attend coffee hour, you'll need 2 separate devices, as these are 2 separate Zoom meetings. Our youth group is meeting this afternoon from 1 to 2. This is for middle and high schoolers aged 12 to 19 years old. And to all you parents and caregivers out there, if you need a space to check in, you can join Amber this Tuesday from 9 to 10 p.m. This is a space to share your quarantine parenting struggles and successes with others who may be experiencing similar things. Links to these announcements were provided in our Thursday Religious Exploration email. But if you need the links, please email Amber. We'll put her email in the chat box as well. As you can see, going virtual is not preventing us from staying connected. If you have any questions at all, or if maybe I went a little too fast through those announcements, check out the links in the chat box and visit our website for more information. Please do not hesitate to reach out and let us know if you need anything at all. Now, please join me in singing our opening hymn this morning, Bright Morning Stars, which was arranged by Brandon Moss.
And now, to demonstrate that morning stars are rising, if you have a chalice or candle at home, I invite you to light it as we kindle our flame together. For our chalice lighting this morning, please join me in speaking these words by Gary Kowalski. With faith to face our challenges, with love that casts out fear, with hope to trust tomorrow, we accept this day as the gift it is, a reason for rejoicing. Our chalice is lit, And now Amber has a wonderful story for Mother's Day to share with all of us.
Thank you, Eric. I'm Amber Scott, your Religious Exploration Coordinator. Today's story is called Mama's Toolkit. Mama was out of town on a trip. She had been gone for a few days visiting Grandma. Sarah and Minnie were folding paper boats, waiting for Mama to get home. What will she bring back this time, they wondered. The street they live on was flooded with water. Sarah and Minnie couldn't wait to see if their boats would float in the puddles. Honk, honk, a taxi pulled up at the corner. Mama was back. Hey, kiddos, when did you make those boats? She asked. When the street got flooded with water, said Minnie. Oh my, how did the street get flooded? Mama asked. Well, there wasn't enough room for all the water to stay in the house, said Sarah. Oh heavens, why didn't you use buckets to catch the water? Mama asked. How could we? The water was rushing and gushing out of the pipe, said Minnie. And it was splashing all over the floor, added Sarah. Oh dear, and the pipe, how did it break? Mama asked. It went crack, exclaimed Minnie. When Papa hit it, while trying to fix the faucet, added Sarah. The water went rushing and gushing all the way down the stairs. It flowed out of the house and flooded the street. Luckily, Mama knew just what to do. She raced into the house and burst into the bathroom. The house was very loud, with the sound of all that water rushing and gushing. Mama opened her toolkit. There were lots of tools: a hammer, a wrench, a screwdriver, pliers, and a measuring tape. Mama twisted and turned and knocked and mended the pipes. Finally, there was silence. The rushing and gushing water stopped. Hooray! Finally, Mama was able to get out the gifts she had gotten on her trip. What did you bring us? Asked Minnie and Sarah. Mama had brought them each a toolkit from Grandma's house. They're just like yours, Mama, said Minnie. But what can we do with all these tools? Asked Sarah. Mama smiled. Anything you like. You can fix up your bicycle, make a rocket that flies, or stop rushing and gushing water from flooding our house. The end. Think about special gifts that your parents, family members, or chosen family have shared with you. What do you keep in your toolkit to share with others? Sometimes mending takes a little work, a little fun, and a whole lot of love.
Thanks, Amber. I love that story. I'm still chuckling at the chaos that ensued and certainly wish I had the fix-it skills of that woman. Later in our time together this morning, we'll bring forward those in our community who are experiencing grief, loss, or times of celebration. I invite you to use the chat box, a button that appears at the bottom center of your screen when you scroll down to that area now, to type your full name and in 10 words or less, the sorrow or joy you wish to share with the rest of us, and then select Send to Panelists. And now, Reverend Marion has a reflection for us.
On this Mother's Day, I would like to honor all those who are mothers and those who mother in our lives. Again, we would like to dedicate this service to all those in sanctuary, including Edith and Miriam. My reflection this morning will include 3 stories from First UU families and mothers in our congregation. Mother's Day is complicated. Our culture wants us to think in Hallmark feel-good terms, a haze that paints mothers in a loving glow that has never been tarnished by real-life experience. This might match your experience and your reality, Moms can be amazing. And in fact, most moms have amazing qualities that are totally worth celebrating. But the Hallmark mom also comes with a cookie cutter image with specific gender and role identities. If I've learned anything over the past decades, is that gender and roles are fluid. So just as women sometimes are the breadwinners, men are sometimes the nurturers. When I counsel couples right before they get married, we go over all sorts of things, including shared responsibilities. In my experience, housekeeping and diaper changing is an equal opportunity engagement opportunity. If it needs to be done, just go do it. In today's terms, we call this collaborative parenting. The role of parenting, and mothering in particular, has expanded. Anyone can nurture, and anyone can be nurtured. Sometimes this is done in a community. We have examples of this right here in our church. The other day when I went to the archives meeting on Zoom, they got all excited when I talked about what we wanted to do for this Mother's Day service. Oh, the story started flowing. And then one story rose to the top of how our church nurtured not only a child, but families as they came to the States. I would like to share with you something that Owen Firestone offered up to the group. She said that years ago, that when the Vietnam War was ending, the war in Southeast Asia, First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus voted to take care of a couple families. We did this. We did this as a group as part of our legacy. Owen wrote about this in a newsletter in a Discoverer column when we celebrate our 60th anniversary in October of 2020. I would like to share with you now what Owen wrote for that newsletter. On a warm evening in August 1981, a small group of first UUers gathered at Port Columbus to await the arrival of our refugee family, a widower and her young daughter, and a couple with a baby. We held a sign high which spelled out "Welcome," we hoped, in the Khmer language. An interpreter stood by to help. At the suggestion of our Active Social Concerns Committee, the congregation had voted to sponsor a Cambodian refugee family. We had all pitched in during the summer, collecting clothing, household items, money, learning about the Cambodian culture, preparing ourselves to help with tutoring English, and finding housing. It was a remarkable all-church effort, and now they were actually here in Columbus. After several days of rest, the family moved into their new home. Then they began an extended flurry of activity, taking the adults to apply for jobs, signing them up to apply for jobs and signing them up for English classes, registering for elementary school, tutoring, accompanying the family to clinics for medical exams, and helping them to learn about American money and how to shop and budget. Many members and friends generously shared their time and taught their own particular skills. Flash forward, for some of us, a warm relationship with a family has continued to this day, long after the church's official responsibility ended. Several years ago, we proudly listened as that little girl spoke at her high school graduation, and now she is a graduate of Ohio State University, a United States citizen, married, and the proud parent of a 2-year-old boy. I like to think back on the part that First UU played in the success story, and on the difference that knowing these courageous people has made in my life. Thank you, Owen, for sharing your story. On the screen, you see the Mother's Day card on the top left. It looks like an ice cream sundae just ready to enjoy. You see the article that I just read, and on the right-hand side of your screen, you see the very first Mother's Day card one of the children had ever written in their lives. They got it just right too. They talked about never doing this before, but they did it and they signed their name with love, with a heart around it. Then they drew all sorts of pictures in bright colors. Owen still has this to this day. When I ask at the archives meeting, do you have copies of this? She says, oh yes, I just ran across them just the other day. Our memories sometimes live large in our lives. Thank you, Owen, and for the whole First UU community who helped love and nurture these families who resettled in our town. Our next story. We think about all that we remember from the past. I asked one of our First UU members what Mother's Day meant to them. Tara Mullins Cosme, mother of children in our religious exploration and music programs, responded. But before I share with you her Mother's Day message, here's a little background on how her family also nurtures our community. Tara and her family have attended First UU since 2011. Tara and Joel own 2 local small businesses, Child Care Training Ohio and Community Grounds Coffee and Meeting House. Community Grounds serves as a donation drop-off for Feed and Read Ohio, with a focus on the undocumented families served by the organization. Thank you, Tara and Joel, for all the work you do. And now I'd like to share with you Tara's story.
Hi guys, Tara here. Happy Mother's Day. So I never met my paternal grandmother. She passed away 10 years before I was born. When my father was dying, he shared a letter with me that he wrote to her 15 years after she passed away. And today I am sharing that letter with you. Dear Mama, today was sort of a tough day. I kept my chin up and got through it with flying colors, but there seemed to be something missing. Nearly everywhere I went, there were people complaining about something. To be very truthful, most of the things I heard were selfish. It seemed as though they had nothing to be thankful for. When I remembered what you had said so many times about appreciating everything that is good and lending a hand to help the rest, I got the feeling that these people must not have had a mama like you. I can never remember the time that you said anything negative about anyone or anything. I learned so much about myself and about life just from listening to you. You were always there when times got the best of me. I came to appreciate being loved after I left home and couldn't always be near to hear your voice. I was thinking just yesterday about some of the things that we used to do at home. You and Dad would take us for a ride in the country almost every Sunday evening. We'd stop along the way for a bag of cookies and an RC Cola for everyone. Dozens were the times we would all load up and go over to the creek and fish the day away. It was impossible to be glued to one spot, and soon I'd be up and trying to entice the bigger ones to bite somewhere up or down the creek. Sometimes, though, it was just enough to sit and dangle my bare feet in the water and wonder, as I do to this day, what a miracle water really is. There were times when the water would be very still and you could watch the clouds fling past just overhead without looking up. When we were out there, nature just sort of took the troubles away from us. I could go on and on about how things used to be, but that will never bring them back. I am just thankful that I had a very special mama to help me, so that later on in life I could pass all those wonderful feelings on to my own family, and others as well. I really feel appreciated in life. Tara, she enjoys all the attention I can give her. She is a very intelligent 5-year-old and is always asking me to do things for her. Josh, he is a busy boy for 2 years old. It takes 3 people on a dead run to pick up after him. And Rob, he's all grown up now. At 13, it seems he is teaching me things that I never knew. I have a good family. I spend most of my free time at home now. I have given up many of the things that I used to do to be there for them all, and I feel very blessed to have them. There are things in the world today that concern me deeply, Mama. Our country seems to be in pitiful shape. Where once there was a standard and almost everyone stood on the side of just and good causes, they are now divided. When once you could trust people and what they stood for, you now have to question everything that is said or done. The news on television and radio is so depressing that I seldom turn it on. How is it, Mama, that we have changed? And why did we have to? I feel trapped sometimes. You would be proud of me, though. With the patience that you taught me, I am teaching the children that these things do exist, and the only way they are going to change for the better is if we change them. Well, I guess I'd better close for now. I've rambled on and I know what I have to do. I must take charge and deal with society as best I can. Thank you again, Mama, for all the things that you did for me. Each day I think of something else that you told me not to forget. I guess a part of me passed away with you back in 1974. It's hard to believe you've been gone so many years. Thank God for memories, and thanks to you, Mama. The way things used to be are still hard at work in my soul. I know that I don't have to be just like everyone else, and I know that it won't hurt a bit to be a lot like you. Your loving son, Bob.
Thank you, Tara. Oh my goodness. You brought tears to my eyes. Your story was lovely. There are always lessons we can learn from our moms. Thank you. Our final story for this morning comes from parents of two very active children. Their story is a rainbow one of how love plays out in a family filled with differences. Thank you for sharing.
When I think about Mother's Day as a pair of gay dads with adopted kids, I have to say, like much of our lives together, that is complicated. Our story is one of 4 children, 3 birth mothers, 2 adoptions, and 1 man our kids call Mama. You see, our adoption story is mostly an open one. We were chosen by our birth mothers to adopt their babies. The first mother was so happy to give us the chance to be dads for the first time, but unfortunately little Alice didn't make it past birth. There is a star in her name now, shining bright in the sky. Our second birth mom picked us because she felt a gay couple would understand something of discrimination, something about being different or not as accepted by society, and we see her fire in Harper's eyes every day. But it's complicated, as the adoption of Harper's sister fell through, leaving us estranged from her. And for our son, he was an emergency placement. His birth mom, unable to take care of him after 6 weeks, impoverished and older, her only ask was that the family who took him had another black child. AJ was a surprise, but now the indispensable big little brother in our family of 4. So how does a man start getting called Mama? Well, when we first got Harper, 3 days after she was born, we took her home to small town Granville. We saw that almost everything in the world around babies and kids revolved around mommies and daddies. And if Andrew was serving as the primary caregiver and stay-at-home parent for her, we thought, why did mom necessarily have to be an affective gender? Why couldn't she have a mama daddy and a papa daddy? With our family already defined by so much difference, it was at once a reclaiming of a term from its gender coding and a way to maybe make the world a little easier to navigate until she was old enough to understand the complexities of our lives. For our family, Mama is about what you do, not about the body you inhabit. So on Mother's Day, we celebrate in our hearts the birth moms that gave us the gift of our children, both those with us and those that are not. We celebrate Mimi Kahn and Grandma Jones, the mothers that raised us to be the parents we are. And we celebrate a man they call Mama, who answers whenever they call that name in the middle of the night for a glass of water or to help with a scary dream. We celebrate mothers of all kinds and the multitudes who made us the family that we are today.
Oh my goodness. I think I should have given this service a Kleenex rating. Thank you, Tara, Owen, and Don and Andrew. Thank you all for sharing your stories. I also ask you as a congregation to send in pictures of your moms, along with up to 5 adjectives highlighting their best qualities. We put together a slideshow highlighting our moms, and thank you, Angela, for helping us do this. The slideshow we're about to show you also features wonderful violin by Michaela McCreary. Thank you so much, Michaela, for doing this for us. I hope you enjoy the slideshow of our moms. My goodness, thank you all for who contributed your photos and your memories. When Robin Lawson sent in the picture of her mom, she didn't send along adjectives. Instead, she sent along a poem that she said described her mom just right. I would like to share that with you now. The poem is by Kathy R. Jeffords, Mothers. Mothers believe in us more than we believe in ourselves. Do more for us than they do for themselves. Worry about us more than we realize. Pray for us more than we'll ever know. Value us more than anything else in the world. Give us more than they can afford. Love us more than anyone else can. Matter more than words can express. Thank you to you all. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to mothers and all those who mother, and to our community. Blessed be Amen.
Thank you so much, Michaela, for that wonderful playing. And thank you to everyone who shared photos of their mothers and loved ones and helped us build this truly moving service. First UU is a church that matters. It is in the foundation of our being to love, to care, and to be generous. Here, we find meaning and inspiration in community, both online and off. We also work for justice. We know this world is a long way from being fair to all people. It takes all of us to make it better. Just as we benefit from our ancestors who have gone before and lift up those who will follow, we celebrate the best of who we are, ask forgiveness when we fall short, and recommit ourselves to living our values. We promise to take care of what we have built together, to make sure that there is enough to support our vision and to help those in need. To offer our gifts and pay our promised pledges is to say to ourselves and the world that we are defined by our hearts and our deeper values. Our Share the Plate recipient for May is the Charitable Pharmacy of Central Ohio. The Charitable Pharmacy provides compassionate access to prescription medication, health screenings, health and wellness education, medication counseling, and social program referrals at no cost for low-income, uninsured, and underinsured individuals. The offering that helps build a better world and a better church will now be gratefully received online. You can donate online through text or the website, bank by mail, or write a check and mail it in to the church. If you need to reduce or skip your pledge or contribution this month due to employment issues, please let us know. For everyone else, if you can, please consider increasing your contribution so we can keep the church running and help those who need help. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you, Nathan. On Mother's Day, we celebrate the gifts and giving of love. With that love as both our center and our guide, let us bring forward the cares and celebrations among us today. The following submissions are from our Zoom chat this morning, as well as caring card requests that have come in during the week. We have one caring card for today. This morning, we celebrate a milestone anniversary, as it was on May 7th, 2017, just 3 years ago now, that Reverend Dr. Marion Stewart answered the call of the members of the First UU Church of Columbus to be our senior minister. Congratulations and thank you once again, Reverend Marion. And here is what you have brought forward to be shared this morning. Mark hopes for safe travels for his daughter Emma as she drives back to pick up her college roommate for a visit to Columbus. Judy notices that her mother died 10 years ago today on Mother's Day. Cliff and Holly's son Kenny has graduated from high school and is headed to OSU. Congratulations, Kenny. Marty asks for prayers for her daughter Elizabeth, who is fighting breast cancer. Both Sarah and Denise send love to all mothers who have lost their children, those who long to be mothers, and those who have lost their mothers. And lastly now, Robin would like to wish a happy 19th birthday to her standard bred Mick Mac Aussie, who shares his birthday on April 28th with his breeder, John, who died some time back. Robin continues, Aussie and I have been together for 15 years, and I hope we are together for 15 more. In the stillness now of the moment to come, let us remember that the gifts of life and love are still very much with us, and that each of us still has much to give. Together we emerge from this moment as we remember our need of love, our need of those who would give unconditional love day in and day out, and for those who both deserve and need unconditional love, by which I mean us all.
Thank you, Reverend Eric. I would like for us to sing for our closing song, a prayer to all the children and young ones, even the adults in our lives. This is a song that most of us know to bring comfort at the end of the day. It helps nurture and feeds us all. I invite you to sing together, Sleep, My Child. The words are revised by Brandon Moss.
Sleep, my child, and peace attend you all through the night. Loving comfort we will send you.
For our benediction this morning, I offer an excerpt from the Marge Piercy's poem, The Art of Blessing a Day. Attention is love. What we must give children, mothers, fathers, pets, our friends, the news, and the woes of others. What we want to change, we curse, and then pick up a tool. Bless whatever you can with eyes and hands and tongue. If you can't bless it, get ready to make it new.
As a symbol of our connection in shared vision as a congregation, I invite you to place your hands over your heart or virtually hold hands as we say our closing words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of vision. As we go forth, let us heal and transform ourselves and our world through reason and love.
Everyone is invited to coffee hour after this service. After the postlude, you will need to leave this broadcast, grab your coffee, tea, or whatever, and then head back into Zoom at 11 o'clock using the link posted in the chat. Every Sunday in May, there will also be a Kids and Families check-in at 11. The link was included in an RE email that was sent earlier this morning. If you need that login information, please email Amber. The church's Discord channel and Facebook group are always open, so pop in anytime, and thank you so much for sharing. The link for coffee hour will be posted again after the postlude. For the Kids and Families check-in, please email Amber.
And for our gratitudes today, first of all, I want to thank the powers that be that have internet that works with a regular, stable connection. Sometimes we just have to go with the flow on that. For today's service, I want to thank the storytellers and those who participated and sent in pictures. Our storytellers, Owen Firestone, Tara Mullins, Cosme, Andrew Cohn, and Don Jones, thank you so much for adding to our service. Musicians, Michaela McCreary, always so wonderful, so proud of you, Michaela, and thank you for your contribution and your generosity. As always, we thank Brandon, Michaela, and Nathan for adding to our music, and our ministry team, Amber, Kelly, Reverend Eric, thank you so much for being a part of a collaborative team. We do this together. Also, thank you to Angela Rupert, our technical support, as well as helping us put the slides together today, the Mother's Day slides. Thank you so much, Angela. And now I invite you to go about your day as we listen to Nathan play our postlude, knowing that afterwards all the links will be posted again. Thank you, Nathan. I invite you once again to coffee hour. The link will be posted in just a moment. And as we go into our week and into our discussion and coffee hour, I have 3 questions for you on this Mother's Day. Who has nurtured you in your life? Who do you nurture? How do you provide nurturing to the larger community and to our church? My friends, have a wonderful week. Happy spring, happy Mother's Day. Go and bless the world. Amen.